All right. All right. We are going to get started here. And so let's pull in. All right. Here we go. Admit. Okay. Hello. Hello. We are streaming live. Go ahead and get comfortable. Seeing some faces here. We got some faces online. Hello. Hello. So we're going to go ahead. We're getting started in just a moment, a very, very quick moment, making sure that we can see all the things that we need to see. Awesome. Okay. So it is being recorded. Make sure you are comfortable wherever you need to be. Today is for you. So everyone sees that screen all right there. Lovely, lovely. So woohoo, I'm really, really pumped. Today we are going to talk about audience building. Okay. We'll talk about what it really is and then the how of it for people that don't want to do juvenile or manipulative tactics. And of course, we're going to have some usable tips to make sure that you are doing this effectively. So this is really your moment right now to dive deep. So let's make it count. All right. So the first thing I'm going to ask, so again, here in the Zoom room, if you're, in the stream session, wherever you are finding us, I want you to ask yourself, do you know that you want to build an audience? Do you know that that is an integral part of your business? Or are you still on the fence? Like, do I really need that? So let's just see where you're at. You can drop that in the chat, drop in the comment of where you're at with audience building. And if you are thinking the audience building is something really for you, then I'm going to ask, what would having a strong audience do for you? What would having a strong audience do for you? Yes, we got some yeses. People are like, yes, I know I need an audience. What would it really do? Now, I'll tell you, 22 years into business right now that I've been doing business development, and I still have to this very day conversations with people as to why they need to have their own audience, right? Can I just go somewhere else? Can I just go, whoever finds me on Facebook or Instagram? You need or no, yes, we got people know, and it more clients, right? An audience really is the connection to clients. That is the thing that so often we are missing. We're thinking like, oh, it's this and then it's sales. The audience is actually the people who are going to buy from you. And if you create an audience with the intention of creating an audience, not the intention of sales, then you're going to have the right people. So I know it sounds like a juxtaposition. Wait a minute, but we're going to dive into that. So welcome again as you're coming all in. Let's do a little bit of housekeeping as we get started. My first instruction is going to be to settle in and be here. I am going to be swift today. All right, I've been working on essentialism. Anyone here familiar with essentialism? Right? I know one face for sure is familiar with essentialism. Yes. So Essentialism, amazing book by Greg McKeown. If you haven't checked it out, very, very helpful for those of us who are do-it-allers, overachievers, right? Which is what I tend to attract, right? Essentialism is a superpower. And it is about being super clear on what you want and using your time for just that. Now, I love to talk and I love to chat. I am the needs to control excessive talking student, right? Every one of my report cards, all straight A's, just needs to stop talking, like consistently across the board all the years. And I love that about myself, and it has its place, okay? But we also live in a world of information overload right now. And throw AI in the mix, and we have enough content to drown generations to come, okay? So the superpower of now and the future, superpower of now and the future, hear this, is going to be distilling the information, sifting through what matters and paying attention to the essentials. That goes for your content that you're going to be putting out for clients. That goes for what you consume and how you do it. That is going to be the superpower. We used to think it was information. We just need more information. It's going to be learning to distill it for yourself and for others. They have a lot of it. Help us know what's important, what matters most. All right. So this is my personal practice today of getting to the point already trying, as well as distilling it to what matters most for you so you can create some results from what you learned today. Because this is the community session. That matters more to me than anything else, is that you walk away with something tangible, some decisions made. I'm not here to just teach you a bunch of information. All right. Does that sound good? Sound good? Give me some okays. If you're okay with it being Swift, maybe a Swift in the chat, Swift in the comments, whatever feels good, that this is okay, that we're going to move quick today. But with that said, yeah, we got some lights. With that said, let's be present. So grab that water, find your cozy spot. I'll start slowing down, buy you some time, but let's do this. And I challenge you, yes, you, all of you, all right? Ditch the multitasking just for now. Trust that you're exactly where you need to be, that this was the place you needed to be. This was the free session that was worth showing up to. Trust that you made the right choice. All right. Now, if you feel so up to it, you can drop in the chat where you're coming in from. That's always fun. I know we got a global audience almost all the time here. So you can do that, and maybe why you're on this audience building adventure, right? What is it that either you're really hoping or struggling with? Because what I will do with that is I'm going to hopefully speak some insight into what you're specifically dealing with, right? It's not just me being nosy, so I can kind of put this together for you, all right? So close those other windows, turn off notifications, drop some info in the chat, and let's get connected. We'll pause and take a deep breath together, right? You can inhale, hold that for a moment, and exhale together. A nice intentional breath to give us a shift today. Okay. So what is this today? What is happening? This is the Modern Business Mastery free community session. So welcome if it is your first time. What is Modern Business Mastery? It is an online community and a coaching platform that ditches the old ways of doing business and instead guides a non-conventional, and I can't believe this is non-conventional. We're being rebels, everyone, because we say life and joy happen first. And then we look at business strategy. We focus to make sure life and joy is first, and that's our approach to business strategy. And our strategies focus on systems, planning, time design, and deep human connection. And with that, we give support to solopreneurs so they can create intentionally small businesses, right? We're not trying to create the next Google here. There's no problem with that, but I'm not the coach for you. So I can give you some great referrals for that, but that's not me. Businesses with small overhead but big impact. So if you're wanting to stick around that solopreneur small team vibe, you're in the right place. All right. And there's a few ways that we support you in doing that. We have a newsletter that goes out. It outlines all of our free workshops, our tips, our tools, all of those things, right? And then, oh, I like that. We'll get some planning and fun. Oh, yes. And then we also have our newsletter. We have our social platforms. So maybe you found us through our free community. Maybe you're more of a LinkedIn person, Instagram person, or YouTube. Our YouTube is new, so please come check us out there. We'll be doing a lot more streaming there moving forward as well. So you can connect with us. And of course, as I said, we do have the free community. So you'll get the access to these sessions, resources, coaches, global network. And then we also have the Academy, which is designed for solopreneurs who are stuck, or maybe they're new, wanting to get that momentum, something that works quickly with that regular support and guidance. And of course, we also have our Mastery 360. This is our integrated mastermind, and it's the only program that goes beyond teaching and actually supports your businesses through the annual planning, all the nitty-gritty stuff. We're talking like, what are you doing in 2025, your systems, your growth, both personal and professional coaching. So that is a whole other spot. And then, of course, throughout the year, we have our courses and workshops that come through. So also, since you're here, we'll throw this here too. All of the things that we do come with the custom business portfolio, strategy portfolio, as well as the implementation plan. So if you ever see that maybe you're in a space where this kind of clarity could be helpful for you, just kind of understand that's what we step out when we work together. So all of this stuff is created and done for you. But this isn't a pitch today. This is really just letting you know what's available for you so you can check out these slides another time, because I want to be swift today. So coming up for you, right? So what matters for you is we do have our work bubble coming. A work bubble is a virtual work sprint. It's 4 hours. It is set up according to neuroscience. We run in 45-minute sprints for a particular reason with certain breaks, all set up to maximize your productivity, your focus, and momentum. They happen once a month. They are hosted by our M360 members, and all that information is in the portal. So that is coming up on the 27th. I know for the US people, that's Labor Day, but you know what? If you want, it's at 5 a.m. for the US people. No one's going to be checking you for Labor Day stuff that day or Memorial Day, whatever it is, right? You're okay at 5 a.m. For the rest of us, we don't have that holiday, then come and hang out. We also have our Nourish and Flourish, which is our wellness sessions, right? So we have an incredible gal. She was a basketball coach for UCI, all kinds of amazing things. She comes and teaches fitness as well as wellness and food, because our health is our wealth. So that is coming up on the 29th. Lead Magnet Bootcamp is coming up. So if you are thinking about building your audience, you've been sitting on a lead magnet, or maybe you have a lead magnet, but you don't have an opt-in page and you don't have the emails, we're going to build the entire system in 2 days for an incredibly low price. It says 47, it's actually 49. I was just informed, but we'll be fine, right? We'll work that out. So 2 full days to build your entire lead magnet system. We've never done anything like this before, so take it, because I doubt we'll do it at that price again. And then, of course, every month at the beginning of the month, we have our reflection and planning session. And that is what allows us to take into awareness and harness reflection, take our lesson from last month and move into the next month. And then lastly, our community session, just like this. So next month it is, we're going to go through sales conversations. So if you're finding yourself having those conversations, or feeling uncomfortable, you're not sure what to say, or the old ways of tactics of objectives and nonsense selling tactics don't feel good, we will talk about aligned and integrated full ways to do that. And that session's coming up on the 13th, but of course you'll find that all in the portal. So that's what we got going on. But like we said, this, the whole thing is it's not a pitch. What is the gimmick? What's the whole thing? Well, this session is to benefit our free Modern Business Mastery community. Right? And we created this community to make high-level training and entrepreneur support accessible to everyone. So every month, my co-founder, Christina, and I host these free monthly community sessions to have discussions, to have coaching sessions. There are times we have hot seats, so we'll work on specific issues, in addition to our free expert-led sessions, such as our copy clinics, Nourish and Flourish, and all of that. So our goal here is to grow a community of like-minded entrepreneurs, or some might say an audience, right? Some might say an audience. You might say that our way of serving you, giving you all the information to make informed decisions about business, is an audience building tool. Just one type of tool, right? Why would this work? Why would taking all this time out and not pitching to you and just giving you really good information, advice, or guidance, why would that work? It's because if we have a group of like-minded individuals in front of us, we know how to support them. And if we know how to support them and we give them a taste of what it's like to have our real support, not holding back, not the oh, here's it all behind a paywall, just give it all out. We get added to a list of authorities and people that have guided them. With that positive experience, they stick around. They tell others. They become cheerleaders and advocates of what we do, and or eventually work with us. All of those positions are valuable. And in the end, we get to feel good knowing we helped all these people. This is a true story. It just happened literally hours ago. We posted about this event because our community sessions are kind of new. We're still, getting the word out. So I post a little more than I normally would. And I posted out there, and there was a gal who I have not seen in our spaces. She worked with us 2, maybe 3 years ago now. And she got on there and she went, I can vouch for these people. They are amazing. I love this. They're so great. And she wrote this beautiful thing on our post. That was huge. One person in that short moment from me posting it, her seeing it, saying these wonderful things about it, came and joined our community like that. Now, some people would go, well, they're not valuable because they didn't buy something. Oh, on the contrary, they're incredibly valuable. Those people are amazing. And so every single one of these type of people that you're building have a purpose and a matter. And so the session today is audience building in action, right? You're seeing how we do it firsthand. So there is no pitch today. I hope you subscribe to one of our channels, join our free community, or let us serve you, and like us enough to tell others about us or help or hire us for yourself, right? That's all. Pretty straightforward. So if that's good, you head nod. And if you understand what's happening right now, this is what we're doing. So I'm going to drop real quick the links to these places. For some of you who may not already be there or are new to some of our ecosphere, there are some links to see what we got. We got plenty more. For those of you, if you are new, I won't go too long in this, I promise, but I am Tanya Marie Figueres-Preisinger, much more easily known as Tanya MFK. I have been doing business development for 22 years. I've worked in music with Grammy-nominated artists, in film with award-winning directors, dance teams, dog walkers, Fortune 500 companies like Nestle and Whole Foods, but I also have a background in clinical research and immunology. I've studied Ayurvedic medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, as well as Kung Fu at the Shaolin Temple, Tai Chi, yoga, and other modalities. I'm good at business because I care about people and I study how they work from both a mental, physical, and literal space. And that's why honoring life balance, integrity, and transparency is a cornerstone of what we do. So that's me. If I'm new, there's a couple things about me that are fun to know. That is me. And yes, I checked recently. I can still do that, but it's not as crisp. But, still got the flexibility. I need to stretch more a little bit. And I love spicy food and all that great stuff. So now there's Christina. She's not here today. She is my business partner. She's an amazing coach. She's a data-informed marketing specialist with a background in PR. She is what takes all our logistics and makes sure that they are not just pretty with the marketing end, but incredibly effective. If you are a part of the M360 group, make sure you check out today's session. She did some serious work about data and figuring out your KPIs and what you're really looking at, and how to let numbers inform what you want to do, right? Without overwhelming you. So that was a really good session. So anyhow, thank you, Christina. She's not here today, but she will be on our next one. She's based in our US side, and she gardens a whole bunch, and she's got 3 kids. So with that, we're going to move on now. So audience building, we are talking about the what and the why. What is it? It is the process of deliberately attracting and nurturing a group of people who resonate with your message and offerings. Okay? Deliberately attracting, hear that first, deliberately. Okay? Not just hoping I pull some right people and do it. Deliberately attracting specific people and then nurturing said group of people that resonate with your message and offering. Okay? So we need to remember that it's beyond numbers. It is about creating a space, and we're gonna dive into this in a moment. It is about creating a space where meaningful interactions happen that lead to trust and loyalty. Right? This is the difference, because there are people with lots of numbers that do not have a space where meaningful interactions happen, leading to trust and loyalty. So why do we need an audience? Well, we can do this first. Why do we need an audience? The hard truth is because without an audience, you do not have a business, right? I challenged some earlier to say, is anyone here not sure if they need an audience? No audience, no business. That dream where you only work from referrals, let's unpack that. Because referrals do not fall from the sky. They come from people who know your work, AKA your audience. And in this case, your network is the audience that you built. So it's all part of it. It's all something we need to do. So we talked about creating a meaningful space where interactions happen, right? Where could you create a space where meaningful interactions take place? Think about that. Drop in the chat if you have an idea. Just, it's not a trick question. Where can we create a space where meaningful interactions happen? And you can even think for your own self, just answer it for yourself. Where can you, where can you, Michelle, where can you, Andre, where can you, Jen, anyone out there watching, where can you create meaningful interactions? Right? Too often we get bogged down in marketing terminology, and it's just, where can I create meaningful interactions? So as you're dropping that in, let's start to look at it. Audience building starts in one of these places. This is a space where meaningful interactions could take place. Obviously, the one we're very familiar with, most of us. Yeah, my friend's yoga studio. I love it. Groups and online networking. You're right on, Michelle. That's exactly what we're talking about. So one is social media platforms, right? Facebook groups, of course, if that's your jam, they can still be viable. I give them a hard time, but there are people still doing it very well. And if you're willing to put on the effort, the world of, oh, they're so easy, they just run themselves, like that's long gone. None of that's ever true. Like business takes work. Yeah, it does. Doesn't mean it has to take over your life, but it takes work, takes effort, and it should, because we're not going to half-ass it to our people. They matter, and we're going to do the work that it matters. So anyhow, Facebook groups, tangenting. Instagram, of course, right? Engaging stories, live sessions, direct messages. Twitter or X, right? For real-time conversations, community engagement. We got LinkedIn, the professional kind of networking, thought leadership space. But we also have online communities and forums, right? So Reddit is a very niche specific, or the subreddits. Quora used to be a place where people would do things, right? Forums, forums may not be your jam or where, but they are still viable places where people go. Now, remember, I'm not giving you a list of places to go market. I am giving you a list of places where audience building can start, where creating meaningful interactions can start. And some people are only given that social media is it, and the truth is that's not it. There are other options for you. So your own website or a blog can be a place nowadays. So there are plenty of widgets and things built into websites that you can have, like comments and interactions on your own website. There are things like Substack where you might do that, which will go into like newsletters where you can have that interaction. Email newsletters, right? Those actual campaigns where you're creating a space of connection and information, right? Webinars and online workshops can be spaces where we create this. Podcasts, inviting your audience to have this connection, having Q&A, video platforms. We're familiar like YouTube, TikTok, those are the big ones. There's some more kind of off niche ones that you can look at. There are offline events, as Michelle mentioned, right? Actual places, those are still a real thing. I have clients who are making an incredible business just by in-person, good old-fashioned networking. And the reason they do it is because they do networking the right way. That's a different thing. Some people are still doing the old ways, the old grab and sell, grab the card and sell, right? That's not what we're doing. And then we have customer support channels. Some businesses actually have a space where they can create it in that, typically bigger companies or people who are doing products. And then collaborations or audience borrowing. So you can utilize somebody else's space for that to happen. Our resident council members are a perfect example of a place where collaboration and audience borrowing is helping them create this space. So these are all the different ways to go, look, where does audience building start? You are hard pressed. Oh, look, our pictures all stayed the same. That's fine. Well, you're going to be hard pressed to tell me that it starts anywhere other than this. This is it. This is where someone's going to find you. It's basically online or in real life. That's it. You could throw a grocery store on here, but if you're not actually trying to build an audience at the grocery store, that's not the most option that we're going to put, right? But this is it. How do I build an audience? Where are my people? There is no such thing. You just need to choose an area to create a space for meaningful interactions, right? And so yeah, we have, so Jen's mentioned here, it's kind of difficult to have this space for free, perhaps, right? Because it can get overwhelmed. So this is the thing, that you have to choose a space. When we talk about creating a space for meaningful interactions, it doesn't mean you have to create a community. What we need is that we need to stop thinking of social media or your own website or workshops or webinars or your podcast as how do I get clients? And think of it, how am I creating a space where we're having a meaningful interaction? If I'm using LinkedIn, am I actually posting or sending messages that help create meaningful interaction? Or am I just posting to post? Am I playing the algorithm game? I know people who play the algorithm game, they have plenty of numbers on LinkedIn and no audience. We have a client actually now who has a situation, and you'd have no idea because looking at the front, they look incredibly successful. But those numbers do not translate to actual clients. That's the problem. That's the meaningful interaction. That's what happens when we play algorithm. So a really great question, Jen. We can get into more specifics, Ava, like if you need specific support on like ideas or places, platforms. So this is great, right? You've done this. Let's say you've done this now and you're starting to get followers or subscribers or interactions in one of these places, right? With the exception of those who are using the newsletter, because that you're not, they're coming in, but you're not maybe getting as much detail yet. But for the rest, who are only connecting with their audience on other channels, you actually don't have an audience yet. So I don't know if you heard that. So let's say you're like, but Tanya, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on a social media platform, or I'm on Reddit, or I'm on YouTube, and I'm looking at video platforms, right? I'm in a networking group and I've gotten cards, or they're subscribed to my channel. Let me get my little slide here. They are not yours yet. They are borrowed. They are on a borrowed platform for an undetermined amount of time. And your ability to connect with them is based on sporadic opportunities and circumstances. They have to be able to show up at the right time that you were there. Their algorithm has to be set that you have a priority over maybe somebody else who's running an ad and paid to have your attention. You are at the mercy of them. They are not your audience yet, even if they are subscribed to your channel or anything else. Now, like I said, the exception here is those who are using the newsletter as their first audience building. They've actually cut out the middleman. Now, I'm not saying that that's the choice for everyone. There is no right or wrong. There's only right or wrong for you. Okay. So for those who are focused on bringing them into the newsletter, they're actually immediately growing an audience, because that is the closest thing that you can have to owning an audience. And we'll talk about that in a moment, because right now what we do know is you don't own Instagram or any other channel. Okay. You are at the mercy of that algorithm, the trends, the trending topic, and anything else. You either get everyone's home address and you're going to go door to door and talk to them, right? Because that's your audience, or send letters to each one, or get their phone numbers, right? Or what? What's the other direct way that you can contact your audience without interrupting their day by showing up on their door or making a phone call or getting lost in the shuffle of snail mail? What can we do? How can we be invited and often with their full attention? It's good old-fashioned email. It's good old-fashioned email. And I'm telling you right now, the rise of technology is actually pushing us back. If any of you missed our last public community session, it was the future of business. We talked a lot about what's going on in AI and what we're seeing on the horizon. But what was interesting, if you're not going to go back and watch it, the summary is a lot of this forward technology is actually pushing us back to a lot of old ways, because people are getting tired of the digital wall. They're getting tired of the, so prim and proper, pretty, blogs that are so well written. And somebody just wants the messy one. I have seen high-end coaches forego detailed landing pages for a really well-written Google Doc. It's amazing what is happening here. And I'm telling you, email is still standing strong. It is still statistically the most powerful business tool you have. And too often I meet solopreneurs that have a list, or they opened an account with MailerLite or MailChimp or any other email marketing platform and then they go, I don't do anything with it, or I don't really know what to do with it. And it's crazy. You're having someone that says, I might help you in your business, right? Because that's what they're seeing. If they're on yours, they're like, I might want to work with you. I might want to do this. Would getting a client help your business? And if there's someone willing to be on your email list, they sound like they might be the type of person you work with, right? So you're attracting the right person. As if you're doing your messaging right, but you should always be filtering for the right person. So if you have someone that could become a client, and having a client would help with your business. So what you're saying is, I might help you in your business. You can email me sometime. And what do we do? So they're saying, I might help you with your business because I could be a client. And go ahead and email. And we go, oh, you can find me on Instagram, or we just don't email them at all. Right? So find me on LinkedIn. What? Hello. We have the direct contact right there. And so one thing I'm going to mention real quick is that today's session isn't about email cadence or content, although we help build all of that in Mastery 360. But for now, I'm going to tell you this so you don't ever end up on a call with me and say, I have an email, but I just don't know what to send, Tanya. It is whatever you're putting on social media. That's the shortest, easiest answer. It's whatever you're putting on social media. Send it an email. You could literally write, check out what we put out on Instagram today. Send it an email. And if what you're putting on social isn't good enough for an email, we need to rethink your social. right? That's another thing to think about, because your post or wherever you're showing up for content should elicit one of three responses. And I know Andrea's heard this a lot is, wow, I didn't know that, which means you educated them. Wow, I needed to hear that, which means you motivated them. Or wow, I'm going to try that, which means you activated them. So you're activating, educating, or motivating. And if your content that you're putting out is not doing any of those things, you are not supporting your audience. You're shouting promotion or just fun information, right? So if you're really struggling with content and what to put out there, and you're not sure how to create a space where meaningful interactions happen, it's probably because you're overthinking it. You're good at what you do. You're not there to be a marketer. You're there to be you. You're looking at content ideas instead of doing what you do. Go out there and do what you do. Just do it on social. If you're a coach, coach on social. If you're a VA, teach us VA stuff on social. If you're a course creator, teach us stuff in your course on social. Obviously, that's totally timed with whatever your sales calendar says, right? But your content should support whatever you're pushing, and it should just teach what you do. Teach what you do. Those who are in here, Jen, you start teaching actual personal branding, not talking about it, teach it. That information. Now, for those of you who don't know, so that's what Jen's involved in. She's in personal branding. You might go, but that's what people pay for. No, it's not. They are not paying for your information. Your information, no matter how wonderful, can be found. What can't be found is how you talk about it, how Jen explains it, her view on it, from her style, or how she does it. And what they're paying for is not the information. They're paying for whatever course she does, for the how they do it, what to do specifically, or the support or anything else. They are not paying for the information. So when in doubt, like I said, this was a mini tangent I put in here on purpose, but I knew I could go on forever this. But if you're still going, I don't know, I still don't know what to do, start just doing what you do on social media. Share the same thing, or just teach them what you do. Andrea is going to teach them about having, better memories or better mindset. Michelle's going to actually teach her program. She's going to take all those parts of her program and just give you little snippets of it. That's what we're going to do, right? That's how we're going to start. So it's in terms of just simply making one piece of content and using that for your email and social. I personally like to start by thinking about what I want to share in my email. And more times than not, what I'm sharing has to do with what I'm selling. So if I'm working on a particular, we're doing a big lead magnet thing, right? So I'm going to be talking a lot about audience building. I'm going to be talking about these things as we move on, and I'm going to teach you how to do that. And you're either going to get value from that and go, you know what, maybe I should build a lead magnet, or you're going to, just go, hey, that was really helpful. And maybe you'll work with us something later on. But that is things that you put in your social. Right? That's when in doubt, that's what we're going to do. And you just repurpose that email to smaller pieces, right? And there's so many other things to do. But real quick, before we move on, so we got 2 more sections here before we wrap up. Biggest takeaways so far, just at this juncture, drop that into the chat or into the comments, those of you online or on YouTube. Thanks for hanging out. Biggest takeaway or any aha moment or something that really landed for you. Just 30 minutes in. We're at. And if anything, start sending those emails. I had to tell myself, I was like, it's not about this, Tanya. I was like, but I have to say something. I can't let somebody continue and leave today going, I still don't know what I should put on my emails. You're putting good stuff out there. I'm sure you are. Put in your email. Because not everyone's seen that, right? Not everyone's seen that amazing post. Not everyone saw that blog. Not everyone saw that. Send an email. What is it? The ICYMI, in case you missed it. That's a little, sometimes people send newsletters like that I see, and it'll just show like all the different things they did on social that week. Like, check out these fun posts we had on Instagram. Here's something we sent in our newsletter. Here's a fun thing that happened to me yesterday. And that's all it is, just a recap of what they shared. What we got here? Yes. So newsletters, valuable, seeing it more. Yes, yes, yes. And those people coming in and people who want to hear from you. That is gold. Your sales are not going to happen on that first level. They're not going to happen with I posted something and someone immediately bought, right? That is one of the things I really, really need you to understand. It doesn't mean it never happens. But the truth is, more times than not, the type of person who purchases that way is actually not usually a long-term customer. They're usually buying because maybe at a really good price, right? We're going to get that. We're going to get some people are going to buy from us for price for the one that we're running. We're aware of that. That's a price play, right? So some people, they don't need to know us. They don't care about us. They're going to go, that's a good price. Why not? Right? So they're not sold. They're not our audience yet. They're coming for the number. They're not our people yet. So when we do those things and we get those posts, go, oh, it's working. Not necessarily. That's not, they might not have longevity, right? So you really want to go, who are the people who are hanging out with me, who are listening and buying what I'm saying? And when they're in that level, they become customers. That's where you put your sales efforts. Like, so yeah, great insight there, Jen. So we did that. So let's talk about lead magnets a bit, because I think this is what the second half we're going to dive into a little bit more. And Andrea, we'll get into some more details that I know this is I know this is a familiar territory for some of you, but we're going to dive into a few deeper things that hopefully will be new for some of you. So the first thing I want to talk about is the role of lead magnets, right? Because as we look into audience building, it's really important to understand what these guys are doing. They are not just tools to gather emails. They are our first active step in having that engaged community. And again, this is the problem. When we think like a marketer, then we can create a lead magnet that gets people to opt in. That's not hard to do, right? You have to work with a little psychology, write something people want, and you get it. Are they there for the right reasons? Are they there for you? Will they actually become clients? That all depends on what kind of lead magnet you do. So there's really a lot more thought that goes into that. So if lead magnet in general, you're like, what are we talking about? It is that simple download that you've ever put an email in for, and someone sent you the 5 tips for that, or the cheat sheet for this, or whatever. Even for me with parenting stuff, sometimes we had a airport bingo that I wanted because we had like a 5-hour layover, and I had to download it from some crafting mama thing, and I had to put my email in and got my little bingo thing for it, right? But funny enough, because I work in business, I was like, well, obviously I'm going to get some marketing emails. Did I? No. No, I didn't. I don't even know what she does quite much, and that's a bummer because I did like her bingo. So what is it? It is a targeted value. Remember what I said, targeted value, not just something people would download. Make sure the right people would download. So again, we can go wellness, right? I'm gonna look at what Michelle's doing. Michelle can make something real generic about wellness and get a ton of downloads, but are those going to be specific her people? So we want to get hyper specific, more into maybe specific areas that she supports people in. So we know that if they've opted in for that, they've already answered something about themselves. The example I give a lot is a lead magnet that we did a long time ago. That was, what bridal hairstyle are you? Now, if somebody downloads that tells us a lot. Probably getting married, and they're trying to figure out what to do with their hair. I also would like to know what to do with my hair, but if I'm not getting married, I'm not going to download bridal hairstyles. That is a significant little difference to make sure that I'm downloading something that tells me a lot about the person that downloads it. If I had something that says having problems with your hormones in your 40s and they download it, guess what? That tells me a lot about that person, okay? This is how hyper specific, and when I talk about clear over clever, always wins the game. So this is offered for free to solve a specific problem. I need you to hear that. Solves a specific problem. So this means it's not all things wellness, all things hormones. I know you don't do hormones, Michelle. I'm just throwing things out there, wellness, but all things, personal branding. It's about solving a specific problem. So maybe it's 5-minute warm up for more energy when you're in, midlife, or maybe it's 4 things to do to pop off your personal brand, right? Or not sure where to start, maybe how to choose your first website as a personal brand. You are solving a specific problem, not generic, and ideally for a specific segment of your audience, right? Specific problem, specific segment. Now, you'll learn if you do come on with us to do the workshop, there are things that we'll do talking about a catch-all where you kind of do an umbrella. And this is where you might have something like Michelle or any of you that's a little more generic But then you need to learn how to get something more specific to understand what your clients really need. Because if you do a generic wellness or generic branding, build your business, you're still not going to necessarily know if you're getting people who really are interested in what you're specifically doing, right? So there's some things about that. But it's your first handshake, right? It's your first handshake with the audience member. It's the start of that relationship. And why do we need it? They're essential because they transform those passive onlookers, those people who like your posts. That's the low bar, right? That's an easy one. Like. So we want the people that go from passive, whether they're scrolling through social media, they're just reading blog posts, into active leads. Somebody goes, oh, yeah, I'm interested in that. I need help with that. We want to give that valuable exchange, useful content for contact details. Yes, the exchange is the beginning of our dialogue, and it sets the stage for that deeper engagement, right? Attention is currency. We know that. But trust is a treasure. That's an important part that the marketers tend to leave out about getting attention. A lead magnet is a tool to earn both of those, both the attention and the trust. And it's going to move those people to active participants in something that go, oh, I'm actually getting support from Michelle. I'm actually getting support from Andrea. I'm getting support from Jen, right? This is something they've helped me do. And how amazing and how much more is someone going to likely to work with you if they've already had a win from just downloading something from you? So that's the power, right? If you're still kind of like, I'm not sure. The problem is a lot of people do it incorrectly. A lot of people send something that's not great. They don't follow up with any emails. They don't do anything to support the journey of going, hey, I downloaded this. Like, okay, cool. Just forget about me, or now spam me with a bunch of unrelated things. It has to be done skilled. It has to be done with finesse. And so this is what people tend to mess up when they are like, well, I tried a lead magnet and it didn't work. Sure. So the first issue is typically we're offering the wrong thing. It just doesn't resonate with the actual needs of our audience, right? And that leads to low conversion or low engagement. They're just not doing it. So there's times where we'll have people who will optimize all these parts of it except for the actual lead magnet. And then we go, maybe that wasn't it. We had an amazing call yesterday with a client, and she does incredible work, really powerful work. She has amazing messaging, but the lead magnet had a name that was she'll be fine. The lead magnet has a name. So this is going to be the real name. It was something to the effect of like creating more engaged clients or something, creating more engaged readers. Okay, I mean, anyone interested in more engaged readers? Maybe. I mean, yeah, maybe, right? We could maybe raise our hand. When I looked at the lead magnet, it was literally how to like super boost your emails to create more sales. Like she was giving these really good tips that was like, if you tweak this and do this, you could check this and that ends up with conversion this much higher. And it was like, I was like, this email is not in this lead magnet, not email, but this lead magnet you have is to boost sales in like 5 minutes. Guess what? We changed the name. 5-minute tips to boost your sales, all right? Or boost your sales with these 5-minute tips. Who would download that besides engaged email readers? We didn't even have to change the lead magnet. We had to change what mattered and resonated with the actual needs of their audience. Most people aren't sitting around going, I wish that they were more engaged. They're saying, I want people who want to buy. I want people who I can serve. I did this not to become a marketer. I did this to teach them wellness, to teach them personal branding, to teach them how to, Andrea, I forget if you're doing mind stuff now or what you're doing, but Andrea teaches people how to be amazing. I know that. She gives them tons of tools to do better, effective, and more focused work, right? But she might be doing newer stuff now, so I don't know. But I'm looking for those examples for you, Andrea, trying to make it relevant for you. So, but that is the thing that we're trying to create, right? It's got to resonate with them. So the other thing people are messing up here is overcomplicated content. Okay. It's tempting to prove your expertise by including comprehensive information, but the best lead magnets are often simple and focused, which is great, right? It's great news for us as the creators for it. Because cramming too much information can actually be counterproductive. It's too dense. If it's too dense or complex, it might just overwhelm instead of inspiring action. So the best lead magnets are simple. They solve one problem, or they're answering one question in a clear, accessible way. I know a lot of like people in the wellness space, especially like food and fitness, they go, oh, it's great. It's like it's a 1 week food diary. And it is great. You're right. A food diary can bring them a lot of insight and like, wow, look at what I can see where I've been messing up. But asking someone to follow something for 5 days, a lot more than you think. Think smaller. Think smaller, think easier. Okay. So this is another way where we're messing up. So another thing, where are we messing, dropping the ball with lead magnets? So we're neglecting the follow-up. The journey of your audience doesn't end at the download. And this is what I explained with my little bingo card, right? When I got that download, that was the end of my journey from this gal. That was it. I never got any follow-up. I never even got kind of something that said like, hey, thanks for it. Hope you enjoyed the bingo thing. This is what we do around here. This is what you can expect. So this is a huge oversight. It's just not having a plan after the download. The whole point of the download was to create the conversation. Why leave the conversation? Right? It's like meeting a celebrity. You're like, hey, and they go, hi, I just saw you in. You're like, but and you just run away. Wait a minute. Why did you want my attention? Did you not want to say something? So we want to make sure we are having a thorough follow-up, right? To deepen that relationship. That lead magnet is the beginning, not the end. Oh, and then we have another one, which is assuming engagement, right? Assuming engagement, which I don't know why we don't have it on here, but don't assume that they actually opened it, right? Just because they downloaded it. Life gets busy, emails get very busy. So your follow-up sequence should also help gently remind them or even speak to them in the fact of like, if you checked it out, or even if you'll find that on page 2, I outlined this thing and it's a real, and if it makes sure to do it, says my connection, make sure I'm slow for a minute, make sure to do it or chat with me and I'll walk you through it. Right? Those kind of simple emails that come after the fact are valuable to actually creating a positive client journey, something that shows them what it's like to work with you and to be guided by you. So our last little kind of 15-minute, all our community sessions are as training heavy, but I had a lot, and we're in sales this quarter is what our teams are focusing on. And so if this jump back in and got 6 weeks, we got about 6 weeks to like really wrap up a powerful Q2 before we go back and figure out our systems and things for the summer. So you could make something really big happen with just this lead magnet. Because again, growing an audience can be very fast when you have the right thing and it's effective and it's hit to the right person. And if you spent the next 6 weeks growing your audience, even 60 or a couple hundred more, you will have much more effective sales in the next couple months because of that growth. And so this is the thing. All right. So how do we make them effective? Like, let's say you're like, fine, Tanya, I agree with you. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to make a lead magnet. How do I make sure it's good? So things we want to do and look at is the 3 processes of effective lead magnets. So first, we need to make sure we're making the right one, right? We need to pinpoint the main challenges of our audience, not what we think, okay? And this is very important, right? Coaches, we speak a lot of coachees. And we say things like, I know they just need to break through their limiting beliefs so they can be empowered. And it's absolutely true, except that's not what they say and not what they think they need. Okay. So a lead magnet that says break through your limiting beliefs means jack squat to your clients. All right. It's beautiful. And coaches, co-coaches, and any of you who are using that terminology, I hear you. I love it. Okay. But it means nothing to the people who aren't coaches. So we need to make sure that it is addressing a pressing challenge. Perhaps that limiting belief is that they're not good enough to speak up. And maybe your lead magnet is about how to speak up, right? Because that's what they want to do, right? By proxy, they'll be breaking through limiting beliefs. But that's what we do. So what quick win can you provide that will be irresistible to them? Like, oh, I need that. That would help. This is why so many of those cheesy lead magnets that say like, lose 5 pounds in a week are going to be downloaded. No matter how many times they've been told it's not reality or it's not going to be real, they'll download it, right? Because that quick win, that's irresistible. Now we're doing it with integrity, right? So we are going to make sure that we're really addressing the challenge. And then of course, the next step is design the lead magnet. Okay. So this may seem obvious, but we need to actually decide, is it a checklist? Is it understood what's most important to them? What is the design that's going to work best? short video, maybe it's a little series, something that's easily consumable, immediately useful. And then, of course, the delivery system. It's not just about sending them the lead magnet. It's how you deliver it. And ideally, it's through well-designed landing page, which is what they come to make the decision to actually download it. They do not have to be overcomplicated. They're not sales pages. They can be quite simple, but you do need one. And then a welcoming email sequence. That ongoing communication that delivers the lead magnet and has a series of emails that starts to introduce them to what you're about, what your company is about, how you support them, and actually show in ongoing support in those emails. Even in a short sequence as short as 4 emails, you can create significant value and way more engagement than when you just deliver it and hope that they stay on and pay attention. So in short, as far as creating these, this will be an oldie but goodie for you there, Andrea, is SAGE. So when in doubt and you're trying to figure out your lead magnet, remember SAGE. It needs to be short, right? So you're creating quick wins. Your lead magnet should offer a solution or a valuable insight, quickly understood and applied. I will say aim for content that can be consumed and acted upon. Now, this is going to be a big one. Andrea, you're real good at this, though. Within 15 to 20 minutes. 15 to 20 minutes. Think about yourself and how many good sounding lead magnets you've downloaded and you have not done. 15 to 20 minutes. Aim for something that can be done in 15, 20 minutes. Make sure it's actionable, okay? Foster immediate action. So it shouldn't just be reading about something and learning about something. Try to design something that has a doable task, even if it's making a list, right? Anything that moves the connection to a somatic space that's in your body, right? Michelle, you could appreciate this, right? It's going to also create a connection with you and working with you. So, but besides all that woo-woo stuff you might feel, the other part of it is they actually got something done. They had an actual action and a sense of achievement. It needs to be to an action. So it might be write out your, choose your vision, write out your 5 things, whatever it might be, have them do something. And then again, make sure it's goal oriented, align with their goals. Right? So the lead magnet should help the audience move closer to a specific goal. So you can see why everything about, memory or everything about mindset is not helping me towards a specific goal. If it's everything about mindset to have better mornings, and that's what their goal is, maybe that's a goal. Everything about mindset to fast track your business, maybe that's a goal. You need to connect it to a goal, right? So whether it's overcoming a hurdle or achieving a small victory, make the objective clear and attainable. And then lastly, easy, right? Simplify for success. The task or insight that you provide should be easy to implement. So avoid complexity, and the easier it is for your audience to apply what they've learned, the more valuable your lead magnet becomes. But the other part of that easy, it should be easy for you, right? As solopreneurs, as people who are intentionally creating smaller businesses, even when we have small teams or not, we are not needing to make an overly complicated lead magnet at this stage. And nobody needs it. Nobody needs an 8-part video series. Nobody needs a 47-page ebook. It needs to be easy for you to create. If an assessment would be an amazing thing, but it takes way too long at this juncture in your business, then guess what? No assessment right now. Let's figure out the most effective and easy thing to get. It's essentialism, all right? So we're getting close here. So we're going to going beyond the lead magnet, right? We want to create an effective lead magnet that goes beyond crafting a single enticing offer, right? We want to make sure we're building that comprehensive system that guides your audience from that first level of interest to being someone in your community that's engaged, right? And that is where we need the lead magnet system. And that's where we'll just wrap up real quick here. So creating the system, you heard me, I've been saying about this a lot, but let's talk about what that means. So the first area here is nurturing the leads and integrating that into a larger campaign. So see that here, right? So we're going to develop a sequence of follow-up emails that continue to provide value, deepen trust, and introduce your audience to your products and services. It goes beyond just the lead magnet. And then those lead magnets can be part of larger marketing efforts. So ideally, that is, that lead magnet's part of something you're really pushing, for those who only have singular products and you're really able to push it into that, that's going to really help for you. You want that of your system. So the first part here is to choose the right lead magnet. So again, we talked about that. Assess the audience needs and decide the unique value that your lead magnet will offer effectively, right, to address those problems. So we have that here. Like, I didn't even know how organized I was. I had it right here. So then after we do that, we need to design it, of course, right? So we have to look into the actual content creation. So developing the actual content of the lead magnet, whether it's an ebook, checklist, or template. So you got to understand, your first and foremost is you actually just sitting down and making a list of problems and trying to go, what could I quickly fix for them? How does this help them? That's first step. Don't start making things pretty yet. Once you decide that, then we can go, well, what is the content? What do I actually need? And then we can look at the visuals and formatting. And there are little keys and things that can help you in that visuals and formatting, like having links and booking links and other details, or even embedding other support and resources in there that can be very powerful for your lead magnet. And then after that, you need to have your promotional strategy. So there's about, just tell you real quick, it's like 8 steps. I'm gonna try to do really fast here, right? So the other part of your system is people have to actually know you have this thing. Right. So you have to have your announcement plan that develops that promotional plan. Now, all of this can sound really intense, right? But your lead magnet is your core audience building. It is the thing that says, I can help you immediately and right away and effectively. You can talk to me, you can interact with me, but you get on phone, you know what? Have you downloaded the thing? Get started with that. That is going to be your best way. If you make a lead magnet you're not proud to send people to, then we didn't create the right lead magnet. But if all of this sounds daunting, I'll tell you right now, first and foremost, when you have the support to do it, that's why we're going to be banging this out in 2 days. 2 days, that's it. But the other part is, once it's done, if it's done right and effectively, this is the cornerstone of your business. This is the cornerstone of your audience. So all those things that you've been launching to crickets, you get to launch to an audience who showed up and has already been helped by you. This is worth the effort, and the effort isn't as bad as it sounds. So I just want to remind you, if anyone's like, this sounds good, I know it can sound like a lot, but it's much, much easier than it. So let's just recap real quick. We chose the right lead magnet. We designed it. Now we're telling people about it, right? Promotional strategy sounds all serious, but we're just telling people about it, right? And we're making sure that we include the engagement and calls to action and those things that help and encourage signups. So now we're telling people about our lead magnet. That's not enough. Now they know about it, but they haven't actually gotten it. We need to create the landing page. If landing pages are new to you, it's just like a website or anything else. The core difference of a landing page to anything else is that it does not have navigation. The idea of a landing page is that there's nothing else to do on the page other than the thing they landed on. So this is why we don't typically want to share signups and things with in our website, where they can get distracted and go to like, well, what's the about section or what's over here? A landing page usually does have no other navigation and has one single thing for them to do. And that's what you set up for your lead magnet. And in that, of course, you're going to design the page and you figure out kind of how to optimize the conversion, which is just a fancy way to say are the right words and the right flow and the right setup on that page. And again, it can sound daunting. This is where our copy clinics and support with copy really comes in, because that is your voice. Copy is your digital voice. I know, Michelle, you were there with us, and we're serious about that, is really understanding that copy is not about sales. Copy is about holding your voice, and it's so powerful. So you got to do the landing page, which is something we walk you through as well. And so that is the design of the page. And then, of course, optimizing and making sure you do all the good things that make sure you get the best. That's why we have Christina on board, really gets into SEO and all that stuff, which is great because it supports our clients without having to pay all the prices that it can be for that. And then you have to have your email system, right? So recap again, real quick. We chose the right lead magnet. We designed it. We figured out how to tell people about it. We figured out how for people to sign up for it. And now we have to deliver it. So we need an email system, which you would already have to be in contact with your audience, right? So this is okay. So when you're creating the email system for that, you're going to need to make sure that you are setting up to set up your new signups, that it's seamless when they sign up, and it's all back-end techie stuff. But once you get it done, it's done. And you're making sure that it's delivering the lead magnet, right? Just the techie stuff that happens on the back end. And then after the techie stuff, we have to say, what are we saying, right? That's the delivery of the lead magnet and the welcome sequence, right? So we have that the initial engagement, that series of welcome emails that doesn't just deliver it, but starts to introduce your brand and really sets the stage for further communication. This is a huge part people forget, is to go, hey, we're so glad you're here. Here's your lead magnet. But the next one, like, just it will show up once a week, or we're going to be in your inbox once a month, or we show up with this kind of content. I get wild on Fridays. tell them what it's like to be connected with you. You're really welcoming them into your world. It's not just, here's your thing, here's your lead magnet. See you later. Now you're on the master list. Take the time to write a couple extra emails and really bring them into your world. This is the closest thing you have to creating an individual connection, short of speaking to every single person on a sales call, which is not going to be the most effective use of your time, or going to everyone's house, right? So take it, use it. It's amazing. Okay. Then we have two more, right? Two more. So we figured this out and we go, this is all great, but like, how do I actually, like, how am I pitching them? How do I move them from you got my lead magnet to like, you want to do something about it. Okay. And this is where we work through the pitch presentation, which is just the fancy way of saying, how do I move and transition from that to say, hey, this is how I can help you. And that's going to happen in those series of emails and teaching you how to go to your direct ask, which is where you then say, hey, this is how we can work together. Direct askers, most of you are familiar with emails or blogs that kind of start somewhere else. And they're like, oh, I saw a dog today. And then by the end, it's like, and that's why business should be this, right? Like they take this personal thing and turn it into business. That's totally fine. But there are times where you need to do what we call a direct ask. And that's where you just say, I have a thing and I'm selling it. And you don't pretend it to be anything else except for, I can help you. Here's the thing. So nurturing, moving into that direct ask. And that's something that you'll build in that section as well. And the thing is at the end is recognizing that it is a long-term relationship. And so with that, after you've done your lead magnet, you want to make sure you have that maintenance nurture plan, right? Understand what happens after the lead magnet. Make sure you're understanding and able to look at analytics and make adjustments, because it's not nothing in business is a one and done, but this is the closest thing you'll probably come to look and be able to keep for quite a long time when done well. So loving that. I'm going to see where else we're at. So 6 steps to choose your lead magnet. Just a little reminder here again. Sometimes I find that telling people the same thing in different ways can be helpful. So just, identify, not all identify, but identify your audience key pain points. So that's what we talked about, right? So these are your steps. If you're like, hey, I need to figure this out, Tanya, and like, I don't know where to start. This is what you do. This is the steps, all right? You're going to do this. You're going to evaluate your expertise and your resources. Like, okay, this is what their problems are, but what am I good at? Just because, and I want you to hear this. Just because you know how to do something does not mean you need to make that your lead magnet. And here's my example. I know how to do Facebook ads. I'm not going to teach Facebook ads. It doesn't matter that my audience needs Facebook ads and that I can teach Facebook ads. It's not an area I want to play. They can have that from somebody else. So evaluate your expertise and your resources. There's no need to jump into somewhere else space if you don't want to. Okay. Look at the preferred content and format. Maybe you're just like, I don't. Maybe like we saw in here, assessments. Maybe you love assessments. You're like, yes. And we're like, no way, I want to be video. Assess what your content format is. Determine what the quick win will be. Analyze the competitor offering. Sometimes you can see it's like, is everybody offering the 5 steps to lose weight, in a week kind of thing? Then maybe there's something else. And we can also look at scalability and segmentation. Again, this is something ideally done with a coach so you don't overwhelm yourself, but you just go, how can this lead magnet be used to segment my audience or more tailored follow-up campaigns, right? So this may be, Michelle, I think about all the different offerings you have. This could be something to even think of now to say, maybe I need to start with 2 that kind of segment my main 2 type of people, right? It could be, or again, maybe it's the other way where we need a singular one to bring everyone together. So that's it. That is it today. That's what we have going on. We are doing the Lead Magnet Bootcamp in about 2 weeks. I don't even know if we have too much information on here, but we do. So if this does sound like something that you're interested in doing, it's 49, not 47, 49, but it's 2 days. In 2 days, in 2 live workshops, we will be doing this, walking you through each of those steps to build the landing page and to build all the emails for an incredibly low price. Part of it's for us. We don't want any more of our clients to not have their lead magnet ready. And we figured this was the easiest way to do it. So part of this is selfish. We just know we want our clients to be just as amazing. So that is what we're doing. If that interests you, check it out in the portal. I'm not going to do some big hoopla here, but that's what it is. So as we wrap up, I know we're just a couple of minutes over. Jen, what was the big insider takeaway now at this point for you?
I want to finally get my lead magnet ready because I have an email list. I just say, hey, sign up, please. And I was thinking about this for a long time, but it's just like, yeah, it's hard to get started. So I'm like, I should get started.
I should get started. There you go. There you go. I love it. Andrea, how about you? I know this is not totally new for you, but it's been a while.
Yeah, but it was a nice recap. And
Yeah,
uh, and yeah, I need to do it.
you
So
need to
I
do it. We might see you at the boot camp.
maybe
Maybe. Awesome. Yeah, it's
I
because Andrea, this is not new for you. Was there was a particular part that was like a good reminder, something that you're like, oh yeah,
the Sage.
Sage.
This
Yeah, that's always a
acronym.
good one. Sage is always a good one. I like
Yeah,
that. How
because
about you?
it's very
Oh,
easy to overcomplicate everything.
that's the thing. When you know a lot and you want to give value, we overdo it. And we think, well, but look, it's jam-packed. But our people just kind of go, and Andrea, you've heard this story a lot, but for those who haven't, I legitimately many years ago in a huge workshop, that paid workshop that we did. And this first day, it was like 2 3 hour sessions. It was a big behemoth. And the first session, I had a gal in tears. And she said, she's like, it's just so, she said it was so much that she realized how much she hadn't done. And so all the information I gave her, even though it was helpful, she was like, all she saw was how buried and behind she was. And that was not what I wanted to create for her. And so sometimes what we think is value is overwhelm. So I think it's a wonderful reminder, Andrea. Thank you. And Michelle, how about you?
well, I had hired a VA for a month and I borrowed the money to do that. Like as in because I'm really a little bit behind again financially. I always seem to do this to myself, but I'm aiming to change that. But anyway, the VA made me get super organized, right?
Ooh.
Because and then I realized how OCD, ADD I really am because I instead of a content calendar for like a week, all of a sudden it was for a year in a Trello board with labels and do you know like
I
it
think we've
was
all
just
been there.
like
I so
what are
resonate
you
with that,
doing?
Michelle.
Like do you know like what do you do with yourself? And then but the company that I hired the VA through gave me 5 free funnels. So I
Okay,
so I
nice.
really need lead magnets for that, right?
Yes,
Yeah. So
that's the
the
next
first one I
step.
did, yeah, the first one I did was a quiz, which is like live right now if you want to look at it at any time. It's at masterhabits.com. That's the domain that I could house it on. Um, but now I've got to figure out what these other 4 ones are. So those would be 4 different lead magnets, right?
Well, it sounds like you have plenty there. So now we just got to figure out what like to build the systems around it and that and definitely share them in the portal. You could throw it in just on the feed and say, hey Tanya, here's the lead magnets I talked about. And Christina and I can probably take a peek at them and give you some
That would be
feedback in
great.
the portal. So yeah, do
Okay,
that
yeah.
for
And
sure.
what days are those
So they are on Thursdays. Yeah, that was a June question too. So May 30th and June 5th. It's a Thursday and a Wednesday. It was just kind of a weird thing that we had. So it's the 30th, there's a break, and then the finals on the 5th. And
and
I'll
and what
share,
time? Sorry,
they will be at the same time. Yeah.
like 1 o'clock?
Yeah. Whatever time this is in your time. So I think East Coast, this is 1 p.m. If you're in Central Europe, it's 7 p.m. So
Okay, so you said May 30th and June 5th.
yeah, June 5th. And it's in the portal. So if you go into the community portal, the events are then we'll have the registration page. I'll get all that out. I wasn't intending to like I just want to let you guys know it is
Yeah.
there and we are
And
setting up.
like
So
because I would like to join those. So
yeah. Okay. Well, I'll make sure everyone gets the info. I can share it with you in the community. I'll tag you on it. And I mean, we're feeling good. I think the main goal here was to see that audience building isn't about nailing that right post. It's not all these gymnastics we think it is. Sometimes it's as simple as just having these systems that we put the effort into and the rest. And I'm knowing because I know a lot of your businesses here, I know that the rest of your businesses are in order. I know the rest of your messaging is clear. It's really this top of funnel, simple part that once we do that, I think we're going to see some floodgates turn on, quite honestly. So I'm excited. I'm excited for y'all. Okay, so I will make sure you get all the info. Thank you for being here today. We will
thank
continue
you
to
for
have these
doing this
sessions.
again. Very
Mark,
sweet.
yeah, mark your calendar. The next session are community sessions on well, and we're talking about sales conversations. We're going to dig into having really powerful sales conversations because those can feel awkward, and we're going to change that. So that's our next one. All right. So with
Okay,
that, I'm going to
wonderful.
sign off, and I'll see you all soon in the portal.